we'll see on yours. Hi! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dixie Belle retailer, or the Dixie Belle Paint Company page. I am a retailer. I am Wendy Vaughn with the Elwyn Cottage out of Pocatello, Idaho. And I'm here with you tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Idaho time, Mountain Time. And I was on Wednesday. We had such a good time talking about Crackle. Hello, welcome. Then I'm back tonight, Monday night. Hopefully a few more viewers can join us tonight. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about Crackle. It is probably one of the underutilized products that the Dixie Belle, you're waving back at me. Oh, I can see that. Hey, Serena, thank you. Hey, lady. And so Crackle is an amazing product that comes in the Dixie Belle line. And if you have not tried it yet, look for your local retailer and give it a try because there's so much you can do with it. And after tonight, you're going to be so inspired and I can't wait to see what you do with it. And if you get some creative juices going and you create something with Crackle, share it over in our Chalk Mineral Paint Enthusiast group. We'd love to see what you do with it. And so tonight I'm going to talk about a few different platforms, but first the basics. What is Crackle? Crackle is a medium that you add upon layers of paint to create a crackled effect. Okay, because paint normally doesn't just crackle on its own, but we love that old aged look. And so in order to do that, Dixie Belle has created this Crackle medium. And there's several different ways you can do it. The basic way is purchase 2 colors of paint and Crackle. Find a beautiful piece of furniture that you want to give an age-distressed look to. Now it's best to do 2 contradictory or contrast colors, like a red and a white, blue and a yellow, so you have some contrast going. Tonight I'm using a piece that we started on Wednesday. It's red and black, so there's lots of contrast. You take your Crackle and you stir it well. If you shake it and you stir it really fast, you can make lots of bubbles, and unless you're going for a bubbled effect, I don't recommend it. So you always want to stir your product very slowly and thoroughly. So the first thing you do is you paint your piece. This one here I've already painted with a little bit of barn red. Your first coat doesn't have to be super heavy, but you paint it with your first coat of paint and you let it dry. After it's completely dry, you add your Crackle. Now on this piece, I have got it very heavy on this side. It's a lot shinier, very thick application. On this side, it's a little thinner. And I'm going to show you as the evening goes on that you'll see 2 different styles based on how you apply your Crackle and how you apply your top coat creates different effects. Different effects you ask. The most common is this one here, which is a mixed medium of large and small Crackle. This is the most popular. This is what most people think of when they see Crackle. And this is just a sample of the white, then the Crackle, and then the Dixie Belle blue on top. That's what's going to give you that spidery Crackle effect. Now on this piece that I started, you can see the Crackle, large and small Crackles. And that's by changing up the way that I'm applying the paint. You want thick paint, thick Crackle, thin Crackle. So on this piece, I'm gonna flip it over. What's nice about the Crackle is I've painted black. Last week I painted the Crackle, which is a clear medium, and I let it dry. And so once the Crackle is dry, you can do it the next day or a week later. That's what's nice with Crackle is you can really change up when you apply it as long as it's dry. And now I'm going to use the rustic red, which is the same color I used last week, starting a damp brush. And now the heavier application I put the paint, the larger the cracks are going to be. So I like to add just a little bit of water. And when you add Crackle, you do not want to overbrush. If I was to overwork this piece here and go over it and over it and over it, the Crackle reacts pretty quick. And so if I'm trying to reapply paint over it, as it's crackling, I'm filling in the holes. So I'm kind of defeating the purpose. So that's, with it, I like it a little thinner because you put on 1 coat and you leave it alone and you let it do its thing. Now the warmer it is, Like if you wanted to wrap it up, speed it up a little bit, you could add a little heat to it. And so now I wouldn't want to go back over this, even though I've missed a few spots. I'll just touch up the spots because the other area is already starting to crackle. And we'll let it do its thing. And again, it's very fun. It's a nice way to incorporate a different look on a piece that you have, that you may be going for kind of a French country look. You want a two-tone, but you want it subtle in your home on the piece of furniture. You just want a little peekaboo of that color, but you don't want to do the sanding. Crackle is a great option. So I've done a little bit here. Now we're just going to set it to the side and let it react. And while it's reacting, we'll do some other little crackle mediums that I love to do. Now, crackle isn't just for paint. You can use it for stains, for glazes, all kinds of stuff. It's not just for paint. There's so many more mediums you can use, and that's what I want to show today because that's really my favorite. Using gator hide as a second coat. And people are going, what? What are you talking about? Well, let me show you. Because it's like my favorite thing. And it's the most asked question from last week. So I thought, you know what? We're going to just touch on it again to show everybody how fun it can be to use crackle. So, best example is on a bottle. What? Yes, you can put crackle on a bottle. And you don't have to put a slick stick, clear glass bottle. Now, if I chose to, I could put a color, which is what I did on this one. I put a color down first on the glass. This one's clear. This one has paint. This one is clear with crackle and gator hide. What I've done with gator hide, this one has just crackle. When you take dry crackle and you apply gator hide or satin or top coat, I like to use gator hide because it's a little thicker of a medium, so you get some really good crackle. Oh, I see Texas. Hello. Hello, everyone. I can't see your names, but hello out there in TV land. I feel like I'm Mike TV from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Anyway, so paint it, crackle, let it dry. This crackle I applied yesterday. So now the crackle is dry. So I'm going to use whitewash glaze. So it does not have to be paint. You can use glaze. You can use voodoo stain. You can use gel stain. You can use wax. Wax doesn't work as good unless you use gator hide first. This one, paint, crackle. Chipped brush, which is nice when you're using your crackle. And again, you put down one application. When I put the crackle on, I went this way. When I'm putting the glaze on, I'm gonna go up and down. And again, you wanna put it on kind of liberal. You don't wanna overbrush. Now this is gonna have whitewash glaze, crackle, and then underneath it is midnight sky with a little bit of copper glaze. So you just put on one coat and you let it do its thing, okay? And at first it's like, nothing's happening, but give it a few minutes, it will react. Patience. So now on here, this is red, rustic red, heavy glaze, light glaze. And we're gonna use some white. This is fluff. And again, whenever I do paint with my crackle, I like to thin it just a little bit, like 10% with water. Just enough to help thin it down a little so you can move a little quicker to help that crackle react so you're not over brushing. You load your brush up with, I like to be liberal with the paint. Again, two sides, heavy crackle, light crackle. And I'm just gonna put it this direction. Is anybody out there in TV land, Shelly?
I just shut it off.
And then on this side here, I went one direction, and then here, I'm gonna just kind of do a little.
Sorry, I just shut it off.
I like to go all one direction, but I'm gonna go the two different sides so you can see the difference. And already, it's already starting to crackle. And so this is why you do not want to back brush over the top of it. Hi, Donna. What I like about a long, clean stroke is it kind of gives a wood grain look. So it looks like that weathered wood. Hello, Sandy. Welcome. I'd love to see where you guys are from. Put in the comments where you guys live. If any of you are near Idaho, I'm in Pocatello. Put your comments in. Come visit.
There's New York, there was Ireland, there was Australia.
So that's a little bit of paint, crackle. Crackle is dry, and then a coat of paint. So we're gonna let it react. Now, this is what we had so much fun Wednesday. This is a vase, bright orange. Painted crackle. After crackle dries, painted black. And so it crackles and you can see the orange underneath it. So now why would we want to use gator hide? Well, on the other side of this, we did crackle, gator hide, and then we did stain. So this is just crackle and paint medium. This is crackle, gator hide, and paint. So see how you get this almost a negative effect. And the negative effect happens if you use gator hide. Both are just beautiful. This one just gives it a kind of an old world feel. And that's what I really, really love to do. So here we go. This is a Repop new little canister. And I've taken and I've cleaned it with White Lightning. I've rinsed it, put a layer of crackle. After crackle has dried completely, I added a layer of gator hide. Now, mind you, you can do this on furniture, you can do this on kitchen cabinets, you can do it on smaller pieces. I'm doing smaller pieces tonight so I can show you different techniques and different mediums that you can apply it on. So this is my favorite. So I hope you guys love it as much as I do. So this is the enamel, kind of just a little tin, enamelware kind of thing. Okay, and so now we've crackled the gator hide, which is basically once we applied the gator hide and it was dry, it started to crackle the crackle. So the gator hide was our paint, basically, okay? And so now, you know, everybody has this. It's cute, it's new, but we don't want cute and new. We want unique and so amazing. So I'm gonna take some of our Voodoo Sting, which is, again, a phenomenal product, water-based. Shake, shake, shake. Water-based products separate, so you always wanna shake them thoroughly. I like to just put it right on the tips of my brush. Well, not today. We'll open it. I think I want to dab a little more than that. Again, you want it kind of full on your brush. On this, I might even wipe it away because I really want it just in the cracks. Now, this already has the gator hide. This has already been sealed with gator hide, so I can take it back and forth. And now with our Voodoo Stains, if I have too much on here, I can add a little water, wipe it back. And so you saw and you remembered how bright white this cute little canister was. And so now I've taken crackle, let it dry, gator hide, let it dry, Voodoo Stain, and like I said, I like to do a heavy and then just kind of spread it throughout the whole piece. What's nice with the Voodoo Stain, after this application and it dries, you don't have to put a top coat on or anything else. It's sealed, it's good to go. I'm gonna take a little bit of a damp rag because with the crackle and the gator hide, I really want it just to be in the crevices. And so now I'm wiping back the excess stain. Oh, look, it's so cute. And you have some time to play with it. That's what's nice about the water base. You can wipe back as much or as little as you want. I like to wipe back the excess the opposite way that the crackle is splintering. And now I have a canister that really could have been Grandma's. This looks so cool. Hi, Carmen. Let's see, so now it's given it that old world crackly, been in the kitchen for a few years. Got a little too close to the soot in the kitchen by the wood burning stove. So again, you're taking something that's a repop, kind of shiny, kind of new looking, and you're giving it an old world effect. Now see, here's a few minutes on that crackle on that sample board. It's really starting to crackle. And now again, we have a vase, or not a vase, a sculpture of a fish, statue. I have lots of these shiny, pretty pieces, which are so fun to make unique. And this one, I think we're gonna use the voodoo again. I really love it. Now on this side, the crackle has already been done with gator hide. So the gator hide has already reacted the crackle to make the impressions. And now I'm just using the stain to fill in those impressions on just this side. And we'll do the other side the traditional way to show you the positive version, whereas this is more of the negative image, because we're filling the second color just in to the crackle, which is like a negative. So I'd love to see with hearts if any of you have tried crackle before. And if so, leave a comment. What have you used it on? It works really good on kitchen cabinets, on countertops. It's really fun. And again, very little odor, but then all the other products are VOC free, which is nice. So you have very low odor. It's fun for crafts, it's fun for projects. Things like this, you can like spend a whole day just putting crackle on a whole bunch of different applications of products around your house, and then sit down with your paints the next day and just really be creative. Different mediums, different colors. Kind of wiping back a little too much. I got happy with the water. But look how fun. It just creates a different look altogether. I'll show you the red is really starting to work on this little entry table. And after the crackle is done, you do not have to put a clear coat on there. And see, I'm just adding a little water to that voodoo stain to wipe it back. To give it this, now it looks like a beached, weathered piece. So we've gone from this, hi Tanya, which is kind of cute, but it's kind of simple, to adding some crackle texture. And again, it feels just like that old world feel. And now on this other side, we'll add just the crackle, and it's dry. No gator hide was on the second side. So now we're adding the stain, full coverage, and then the crackle is going to react, and the blue is going to be peeking out, which will be the opposite of the negative side. And again, you do not want to back brush, because if you back brush too much, what happens? We fill in the cracks that we want to crackle. It opens back up and fills in with our paint. So sometimes, depending on if it's a thicker medium, you want to work a little faster. That's why I like to add a little bit of the clear or water to help thin it just a little bit. And see, that's what's so fun. I mean, I'm doing several different projects, lots of different creativity, all going on at the same time. So now as this one dries, the blue will be peeking through the voodoo stain. So thank you. Thank you for sprinkling it around. Now, if you've never used Crackle before and you're thinking, I want to give this a try, look for your local retailer. Up above Dixie Belle's page, they have a find your local retailer, which is always nice. If you don't have a local retailer close by, I have an affiliate link up above. I'd appreciate if you use that. Follow me on Facebook, The Elwyn Cottage, and I always do fun little tips and ideas and tricks. So again, now we're going to do another one. How versatile is Crackle? There are so many things you can do with it. It's not just painting one and done. It's endless opportunities. Bottles are super fun. Super fun for classes, for projects with your kids, just making something pretty. You have lots of glassware, you have lots of vases. So embellish them with a little bit of Crackle. And now I'll show you how easy the Crackle is. You open your jar, you stir it well. Now you can choose to put a color underneath the Crackle, or you can choose to have the dry wood or the glass shine through. It's your choice. That's what's nice about Crackle. There's no wrong way except overworking it. You open it, you take a stick. After you've read the directions, you stir thoroughly. Now, the more you stir and the faster you stir, the more bubbles get in there. So if you want to have a real bubbly effect, then by all means, stir, stir, stir. But if you don't want to have all those bubbles in there, stir it nice and slowly. Make sure to get everything off the bottom. Then take a clean brush. I just use a chip brush. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Clean bottle. Cleaned it with White Lightning, then I rinsed it clean. You could put a first color of paint on there. I like it clear because what's fun, you can put the little fairy lights in there. You could put tea lights inside. And then because it's clear through the Crackle, you'll be able to see the light reflect through. Now you can stipple it, which is like pouncing. You can go in one direction. You can cross hatch it. Be creative. Try it a few different ways. It does drip if it gets a little too heavy. So you want to make sure if you're going to let it sit, sometimes if it's really heavy applied, it's going to drip down and it's going to stick almost like super glue. So make sure you have it on like a paper towel or a little piece of wood in case you did get too much. That way you can pop it off easily. I had a piece the other day that actually stuck to the tabletop and I had the table sideways and I couldn't get the little piece off of there. It was pretty funny. So now with this, that's the only thing about Crackle is now you have to let it dry. And the longer the better. A few hours, but overnight is best. Especially depending on if it's humid, it may take a little longer. If it still feels tacky to the touch, if it's still sticking to you when you put your hand on it, it's not dry yet. You want it to be nice and dry. So I have this one, nice and dry. Now this one I painted in a spiral pattern yesterday. So now we're going to apply some color on it and see what happens. Put our Crackle aside, but it's literally that easy. But Crackle is definitely a 24-hour creation. And so now we're going to use Moonshine Metallics. I love Silver Bullet. Again, it's another medium that you want to stir really well. I'm using a chip brush. If you haven't used the Silver Bullets, the Moonshine Metallics either, they're super fun. I think pretty much everything Dixie Belle has is super fun. So you can get really creative. So here is the bottle with one coat of Crackle that was applied yesterday and is dry. And so now we're going to put the paint on. I put the Crackle around in a spiral motion. I'm applying the paint up and down. But see, now you could take a pretty little strand of twinkle fairy lights in there. It'd be a beautiful little jar, sparkly. And this is one of the fun ways to literally watch paint dry. And again, you don't want to overbrush it because it'll fill in your crackle. And now if you've applied your crackle and you're like, why isn't it doing anything? Think back, maybe we forgot to stir. That is the biggest downfall. I've applied crackle before and waited and waited and waited and nothing's ever happened. That's because I forgot to stir it. If you don't stir it, it's not going to have all the right components to react to cause crackle. So crackle is definitely a stirrer. Same with like when you use the metallics or the patinas, stirring is the key. And again, now we let it dry. So we're gonna look at this one, which has cleaned crackle gator hide. And so now I'm going to do the gator hide with a color on top of it, and it's only gonna stick inside the crackled gator hide. So let's use, I like the red. Oh, you know what? Let's use mousse. Garnet. How about that? Garnet. I just want to show you how diverse crackle can be. You can use it with literally all the Dixie Belle products. Can blend and play and get along. It's so fun. So, gemstone mousse, garnet, beautiful. Again, another stirrer. Garnet is the one that most separates. And so you want to stir it and stir it and stir it until it's just a beautiful shimmery garnet. And brush. I had stirred it previously. So now I'm going to put it on here and then I'll wipe back any extra because I already have the crackle. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I just thought of this earlier today when I was playing with the mousse. This looks beautiful. Oh my gosh, who's not gonna run out and do this? Everybody go grab your bottles, order some crackle, order some mousse. I'm putting it on really thin. I want it just to stay heavy in the crackle. Oh my gosh, I love this. Isn't it fun when you just get creative and you see what happens? I know you probably can't see it, can you? Oh, making you wait, anticipation. And again, once you add this mousse, it's permanent, it dries, no need for a top coat. Oh, can you see the possibilities? Wait till you see this. I'm keeping you in suspense, I know it. But this has turned out beautiful. Hee hee. Are you anticipating? Are you excited? Do I see any stars? Are you ready? This is gonna be fun for holidays. Can you see that? I don't know if it'll show up on there. Is that just amazing? I'll have to take some photos. You'll go over to my Facebook page and you'll see it. But this is given it looks like it has these huge cracks in it, and it doesn't. And now just for fun, because this is what we do, I'm gonna take a damp rag and just wipe back a little bit and see what happens with you. But I think I'm gonna love gemstone mousse. Oh, there we go. Look at that. This is a stunner. This is a keeper. Look how much you can pull back. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. I know I can. The more I wipe back, the beautiful. Oh my gosh. That is absolutely fun. Can you see that okay, you guys? Oh my heck. So this is crackle, gator hide, and gilding wax. Or no, mousse. Oh, we have to try gilding wax. That would be fun. But it literally looks like the glass is just cracked from heat and out of the ocean, some pirate ship. That is amazing. I definitely will post some close-up photos of that so you can see it on the Facebook page, the Elwyn Cottage. But so far, that's a fun one. mousse, gator hide, and crackle on glass for the win. I really, really like that one. So let's check back in with our handy dandy table. Looks like it's turning. We'll give it a few more minutes. So while we're doing that, let's play some more. So now I have this board that has been cleaned, and it has been crackled, and it has been gator hide. And so now with this one, we're gonna just really give it that old world feel with the Van Dyke glaze. The Van Dyke glaze is the brown glaze, which for me, if you want it to be super old world, vintage, been around for 100 years, the Van Dyke glaze is where it's at. It's the most beautiful glaze. A little jar like this lasts forever, ever, ever. And now I'm in the habit when I use my glaze, I always want to offload. But for here, I'm not. And I'm gonna go across. When you have your crackle at home, you can see, when you've applied that gator hide, you can see which way the crackle has gone. And it's very organic. It kind of does its own thing. Sometimes you want it to go one direction, it's not. It's gonna go the other way. And see, now what's nice too with the gator hide on there is I can play with it a little bit more. If this was just straight crackle, I wouldn't be able to play and go back and forth and brush on it like I am. So that gator hide, if you're doing the reverse image for vintage, that gator hide coat gives you the time and the flexibility to manipulate it, move it around, add water. And just remember, gator hide, you're only gonna get your top coat in the crevices, okay? Where if you're using the crackle in 2 paint mediums, the paint is going to be crackling and your crackle is what's underneath. Where with gator hide, the crackle is being filled in with what you're putting on top. So that's the 2 main differences with using gator hide, which I highly recommend. Especially if you're a little nervous about using the crackle, putting the gator hide on first takes away any of that hesitation because you have more time with the gator hide. And still see, you can still see the words underneath there. So, oh, please do try, whoever that is. I see you out there, please try. It is so, so fun, okay? So I've taken just that flat piece of wood. We stenciled the pretty word on there. We added the crackle. We added the gator hide. And now we added the Van Dyke glaze. Okay, and now if I don't want it this dark, maybe I want it a little lighter, I can wipe back some of it. And now it's almost looking like old stone, brick. Oh my gosh, this is coming out pretty. Imagine that on the front of a buffet. How beautiful would that be on a buffet or a china cabinet? It almost looks like marble. Or on a countertop. And then put the epoxy pour over top of it. Beautiful. That would be a beautiful countertop. You could use 2 or 3 different mediums of the glazes. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Terry. Welcome to the show. The Crackle Show. Love crackle. Okay. So there's just another thing you could do with your crackle. And I have to say, in an 8-ounce jar of crackle, I probably do 18 different projects, more if they're just small projects. You get quite a bit out of it. It's really nice. And now this one is a red frame painted with crackle. In the corners, I had a little bit of some sea spray left, and so I added it to the crackle medium just to see what would happen. It just added texture. But now I've taken this frame that has the crackle on it, and I want to patina it. Can you patina crackle? Of course you can. Of course you can. Patina's my favorite. Crackle's right up there, but patina's my all-time favorite. So, if you've used our patina before, paint, crackle, it's pretty thick. You can see I added it pretty thick. You can see the shine in the light. There's quite a bit of crackle product on there. Dried. Stir my patina, bronze, and I have green spray. I'm gonna move my table. Now for those of you that have used our patina before, you have to use the two. Mix the paint, shake the spray, wear gloves to protect your jewelry, stir well because there's lots of metal particulates in the paint. And then I like to stipple it on. But remember, because that crackle is there, you can't go back and forth. So you put it on and you move. You put it on and you move on. So add it a little heavier, drag it on. This is bronze over red. And the shedding paint. And now if you've used our patina before, you know once you add the spray, then you have the reactor. If you haven't used ours before, it has metal particulates in it. When you add the spray, the metal starts to rust, like real rust. Dixie Belle's patina line just speeds up what Mother Nature does naturally, which is rust metal. And the metal has been added to the paint, so you can have a faux metal effect on your wood. But nicely, underneath here is going to be this red paint because I added the crackle. And now this one doesn't have the gator hide, so you have to paint a little more swiftly. And then do not go back and overbrush because then it fills in the holes. Now I'm going to take the green spray and I'm kind of just going to go off here on my floor. I'm very lucky that I own the building and I have concrete floors. A lot of people will take this outside, but I want it to be reacting before it starts crackling. So I had to act kind of quick. So now we've tried our crackle medium with paint, with gator hide, with voodoo stain, with glaze, with gemstone mousse, with patina. It's amazing how many things you can do. Now here, we did the vase a few minutes ago with the paint, the crackle, and the white. It almost looks like a little piece of wood there. Okay. This is the one with the metallics. It's starting to crackle. Now the moonshine metallics are a little thicker, so it's going to take longer. It's still very wet. So it's going to take longer to dry and crackle. The gemstone mousse, however, crackled really well over the gator hide. Hi, Jackie. Welcome to the crackle party. And then, but again, taking these repop pieces and giving that crackle effect. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. Welcome to Dixie Belle. And tonight I'm showing you on several different pieces, but all of these pieces can be adapted for furniture. Crackle, gator hide, and then color. This side is crackle and then color, no gator hide. So you almost have a negative. If you use the gator hide, you have a negative image. So let's go back to our piece. See, there's the top, the black with the red, the leg we just did, and see how it's crackling on the leg and on the door. Now, the heavier the crackle and the paint, the larger the crackle. Now, if you just want it thin and spidery, then you do thinner images, thinner coats. Whoops, my stool was running away. Now here, I started this one. This has a transfer and crackle, and then this was stain over the top. So again, you can put gator hide down, you can stain over your images. It's just so many things you can do. It's super fun. Super, super fun. So let's try one more time. Let's use the red. Now this I'm just using as a sample board just to show it again to you. This has got paint and an image, which we're not really gonna see the image. We're just gonna focus on the crackling. And then the paint. I've thinned it down a little bit so it's easier to apply. But you do not want to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? You put it on and then you just let it do its magic, okay? And now if I decided I didn't want it to do this, let's say I didn't like the gray on this side, you can sand it because it now has a texture, okay? It has a texture. But maybe you just didn't like the gray. You can just paint over it. Now, mind you, you're still gonna have a little bit of a texture, but that's what's nice with the Dixie Belle products. They're all water-based except for the espresso gel stains. So if I decided I didn't like that gray crackle at all on my board and I just wanted it to be red, this is how easy it is to fix it. Don't feel like you have to sand it and start over. If you don't mind the texture, which is kind of nice sometimes on some pieces, especially if the top is in perfect condition as you thought. And because it's already been crackled with the gray, this is not going to crackle, okay? Now I've completely just painted over the crackle. There's a little bit of a texture, but nothing that I don't feel is a problem. If anything, it's kind of pretty. Almost looks like a faux leather. Okay, so even after you've crackled it, not what you were envisioning, paint over it. Crackle over it again. There's no wrong way. Okay, that's what's so nice with Dixie Belle. You can create, recreate, change your mind, start over. Hello, is that Rhonda? Hey, hi Sarah. We're just having a great time with crackle. So, but yeah, you can cover it up like it never happened. No foul, it's gone, poof. Now I've left you with several different things and you're like, how can we remember all this? Well, luckily it saves in the videos. So when you get home with your crackle and you're excited and you're like, okay, which one did I want to do first? Rewatch the video, hit replay, ask questions later. I'll go back through and answer them. I get notified when you guys ask questions. Happy to help you because crackle is such a fun thing to use. And it's so diverse. You can use so many different products that you already have, you know? So, and if I haven't seen your comments because you're kind of far away, I will go back tonight and I will answer. Now this one is still very thick, still drying, but it's the Moonshine Metallics. So you can use it with metallics. You can use it with stain. You can use it with just about everything. But I'm having to say, my favorite is the gemstone mousse. Now this is the one that we did earlier. And this is what I'm just gonna show you. It's starting to drip because it's a slick surface and it's getting these little drips, which I don't mind. It looks really fun on jars, but if I don't put something under it, it's gonna drip and it's gonna stick to the tabletop. So you always wanna make sure that you have it lifted, elevated up a little bit so it does not stick on there. So I think we've covered everything. Let's look at this. The patina, sorry my back is to you, is not quite reacting yet. It's going to take a little longer because it's got the patina paint and the spray over the reactor. So I'll post photos of it. Oh, it's starting a little bit. Let's see. Don't see if you're going to be able to see it too well. But it gives you these long lines of red in the crackle. And again, I will post the photos on my Facebook page, the Elwyn Cottage, to follow up. But crackle over bright colors, reds, yellows, purples with this patina over it is really pretty. It just gives it another dimension. Because, you know, crackle can't be amazing enough. You got to add patina to it, and it makes it even that much more exciting. So, thank you for your time today. I think that's about, my time is up. I appreciate you guys. I love coming and visiting with you guys on the Dixie Belle Paint Company page on Facebook. So if you want to know more about it, you can watch replay. You can visit me at the Elwyn Cottage on Facebook. If you want to order any products or look for a local retailer, my link is up above. You can look for a local retailer. If there's not one in your area, please feel free to use my affiliate link. It'll be shipped right to your home. When you get it home, message me on Facebook, the Elwyn Cottage. I'd be happy to answer any questions about crackle, anything that you want to know about it. I love it. I love crackle. I love patina. I love Dixie Belle. So I love what I do. Kind of shows. Again, I'm Wendy Vaughn, an elite retailer in Pocatello, Idaho, with the Elwyn Cottage. I appreciate your time tonight. I know we're all very busy. I love the hearts. Thank you so much. Pixie does this video around. If you've got some friends that maybe would love to know about crackle or patina or mousse, how many projects did we cover and how many different mediums did we use? Crackle is so diverse. Limits are your imagination. And if you run out with your imagination, there's a lot going on up in here. Give me a message and I'll give you some more ideas. So, much love. Stay safe, be creative, and share what you do over on the Chalk Paint 101 Mineral Paint Enthusiast groups or message on Facebook. Love to see you there. Have a great night. Bye-bye.